baby, do what I should, man. Point, point, baby, do what I could, man. Point, point, baby, do what I should, man. Point, point, baby, do what I could, man. Point, 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 baby, do what I should, man.
All right, welcome back to the Coach Rob Show. Thanks so much to Alex Deitz for every week being a part of the Take It to the House podcast. The last segment, we talked about college football, and Alex was good enough to join me, as he is every week. You can always catch the entire Take It to the House podcast on YouTube, along with streaming, on demand, the Coach Rob Show. Put all of that up on YouTube every week. So please go to YouTube and check that out. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook and X on, formerly Twitter. So you can always find links. Reels go up just about every day on X and Facebook and Instagram. But it's great to have more people come to YouTube and check out the content. And if you're listening to me because you normally listen to WGSO, that is wonderful. Thanks so much for being here. I value very much the audience. And if you ever do have the opportunity to go on YouTube, you can always pull that up, stream it through CarPlay in your car, and pull up the audio. And all of that links through the other social medias as well. But check out Take It to the House if you want to hear more details about football. We actually go into the NFL every week on another segment. So thanks for that. It is the fourth segment, and I want to make sure that everyone knows about Black Lion Hauling. This portion of the Coach Rob Show is brought to you by Black Lion Hauling. Contact Andrew at Black Lion for garage or office cleanouts, dump runs, or gravel or mulch delivery. Black Lion has open and closed trailers, also a hydraulic dump trailer. They can do furniture moves and deliveries as well. They also have a couple of flatbed trailers that can do auto transport jobs across state lines. If you need a car delivered to Louisiana from Florida, or you need a truck taken to Texas, Black Lion can handle that. All Black Lion trailers are available for rent as well. The Black Lion hallmark is showing up on time and good communication. That's just quality customer service, and that's why they have countless 5-star ratings on Facebook. Contact Andrew at info@blackliontn.com. That's the email. info@blackliontn.com. Be sure to provide the promo code Coach Rob. Let him know that I sent you his way. Andrew would be happy to hear from you, and I recommend Black Lion Hauling. All right. Well, it is time to get into movies for a little bit. It is December 14th, so I am going to hold off until next week on the 21st to get into Christmas movies. IMDb.com is a great website that tells you can look things up by actor, by director, by movie title, by year. I always like to check boxofficemojo.com as well, which just interestingly lists movies by box office numbers, which is always kind of interesting, but it provides a million ways to look at lists, either by year or by weekend or by total gross revenue, domestic or worldwide. They've just got so many different ways you can look at movies and what movies are doing well. But I've got 3 different categories of movies, and these are within the last couple of years. Most of these movies are, and I believe, yes, without it, all of these movies, I've got 9 that I'm going to mention today, but they're in 3 different categories, and all of these are available on streaming services. And also, if you look up a movie on IMDb.com, let's say you've heard about a movie, but you don't know is it on Prime, is it on Freebie, is it on Tubi, is it on YouTube TV? It tells you exactly how you can find the movie. And sometimes it's free with whatever streaming service you already have, and sometimes you got to pay a little bit to rent it. But all of these are available at home to watch. So the first category is what I call the Collier category. And I call it the Collier category because my wife's name is Collier, like call your mom. And Collier is someone who loves movies that do not have bad language, They do not have much violence, although she can handle an action movie. But sometimes the action movie has a little too much blood, or it might have a little too much violence. She's not interested in any sort of suggestive stuff or sexual stuff in movies. And she likes to be happy. Even though sometimes stories can be a little bit sad, she wants it to end up okay at the end. She doesn't want to be sad. And she does have a hard time staying awake for movies. So sometimes, you got to start the movie early, and you got to get the popcorn and the coffee going or something, just so that she'll stay awake. But this first category is the Collier category, because these 4 movies I'm going to mention to you are wholesome movies. They're family-oriented movies. And again, IMDb.com also gives you all of the content that prompts the ratings. So I don't know if any of these are PG-13. I think a couple of them might be PG-13. None of them are R. Some of them are, I think most of them are just PG. So I'm not 100% guaranteeing there's not any language at all, but relative to rated R movies, there's not F-bombs every other word and that kind of thing. So wholesome movies, really good stories, and I think all of them actually are British movies. And they were made in the last couple of years, but I'm looking at them, and they're actually all set in times that were older, but not like, we're not talking like Pride and Prejudice. We're talking like, maybe the 20s, 30s, and maybe the 50s or 60s. And I think one of them is actually set in the 70s. So here are the movies that actually, this first one is not British. There might be a couple British dudes in it, but it's actually about Americans. But it's called Boys in the Boat. It's a story about, it's a true story about a crew team, and I believe it's at the University of Washington. Joel Edgerton is the main star of the movie. He's a relatively big star. He's not a major headliner, but he's done a few movies, had a lot of supporting roles, doesn't have a whole lot of lead roles. But it's a great movie about crew, about rowing, and it's a true story, interesting story, wholesome story. Really liked it. Another one that is British, it's called Living, starring Bill Nighy. I don't know if you might know who he is, but he was in Love Actually, and he's been in some other British movies. He's had some kind of comedic roles. This is a dramatic role. It's a little bit of a meaning of life, kind of deep movie, but it's really sweet and touching, and can't promise no tears. It's a touching movie, but it's a good one. But Living is a great one with Bill Nighy. Another one is Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. It's a little bit of a chick flick. Definitely want to take the wife to this one. It's about fashion, but it's in the 50s, I believe, and it's kind of about classism and snobbyism and the kind of the British or the French fashion scene of the 50s. Another one is called The Phantom of the Open, and this is a true story about a guy who tries to get into a golf tournament when he's way past the prime age of playing golf. So all 4 of those are my wholesome movie recommendations: Boys in the Boat, Living, Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, and The Phantom of the Open. I'm actually running low on time, but I'm going to mention these 3 others, and I'll come back to the last 2 next time. But these next 3 movies are not for the faint of heart. They're kind of cool, interesting, but sort of suspense, horror, thriller movies. And I might spend a little bit more time getting into the details next time. But Strange Darling, Long Legs, and Infinity Pool. Now, Infinity Pool is a little bit more dark and a little bit demented. Strange Darling and Long Legs are just kind of pretty awesome, and just really cool and different, but filmed in a very unique way. Really neat movies if you're a movie buff. Now, these are not Collier movies, okay? My wife would not like any of these 3 movies at all, but they're interesting, they're creepy, and they're kind of cool if you're into a little bit of that suspense, horror, thriller, psychological stuff. Thanks so much for sticking with us today on the Coach Rob Show. Going to leave you today with an interesting song. Love Hurts was a hit by the Everly Brothers, and this recording is from the movie Strange Darling on the soundtrack, and it features Keith Carradine. If any of you have watched the Showtime show Dexter, Keith Carradine played one of the federal agents that came down to Miami on that show. But he is on this track. It's Love Hurts. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. See you next time.